Are you ready to discover the secret that could create the next generation of millionaires? In this video, we reveal the exact action Warren Buffett says can turn ordinary people into extraordinary wealth builders. Forget get-rich-quick schemes. This is proven, timeless strategy straight from the mind of the world's greatest investor. Watch closely, because what you do after this could change your financial future forever. Look at this data that's going to leave you stunned. The US dollar has just silently lost 9% of its value. It dropped from 108 to 98.75 points on the DXY index, and almost nobody noticed. But here comes the most shocking part. There's a specific stock that has gone up 714% in the last 12 months. Yes, you heard that right. 714%, from $21 to $172. And the craziest thing is that billionaires keep buying it even though it's at an all-time high. Why would they do something that seems so stupid? Are they crazy, or do they know something you and I don't? The answer will surprise you. And when you discover it in the next few minutes, you'll understand why this is literally the biggest investment opportunity of your life. But first, I need you to understand something fundamental I learned after years of studying Buffett. The greatest fortunes aren't built when everyone is making money. They're built when everyone else is looking the wrong way. And right now, 95% of people are looking exactly the wrong way. They're worried about inflation, interest rates, and recession. Meanwhile, there's a $409 billion company quietly controlling the most important data in the world. A company that works with the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Defense, Microsoft, BP, and other giants you'd never imagine. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly which company this is, why its technology is so powerful that once a business or government starts using it, it's literally impossible to stop. And most importantly, I'll show you the exact moment to get in and the specific strategy the world's biggest investment funds are using. But let me warn you, if you don't stay until the end, you'll miss the most crucial part, because at the end, I'm going to reveal the 3 catalysts that are about to send this stock's price exploding in the coming months. Catalysts that are already in motion, but that the market hasn't fully priced in yet. Oh, and if you think you need a lot of money to take advantage of this opportunity, you're completely wrong. With the strategy I'm going to teach you, you can start with any amount, but you have to act fast, because by the time everyone realizes what's happening, it'll already be too late. So give this video a like so more people can see this information, and get ready, because what's coming is going to change your life. Now, pay very close attention, because what I'm about to show you is happening right in front of our eyes, but nobody wants to admit it. The US dollar, the most powerful currency in the world, is collapsing in slow motion. And no, this isn't a conspiracy theory. These are real numbers, hard data anyone can verify. The dollar index, known as DXY, dropped from 108 points to 98.75 in just a matter of months. That's a 9% decline, going completely under the radar. But wait, this gets either worse or better, depending on which side you're on. The real effective exchange rate, which is basically the dollar's real purchasing power adjusted for inflation, is at 112 points. Do you know what that means? It means the dollar is historically overvalued by 24% compared to its average over the last 50 years. The most conservative analysts are projecting an additional 15% drop until it returns to its historical mean of 90 points. But I think it's going to be much worse. Why? Because there are very powerful forces deliberately working to weaken the dollar. And when I say powerful forces, I'm talking about the US government itself. I know that sounds contradictory. Why would a country want to weaken its own currency? The answer is simple but brilliant: competitiveness. A weaker dollar makes American products cheaper for the rest of the world. Exports soar. US companies sell more. The economy grows. It's a master move that very few understand. But here's the part that will blow your mind. As the dollar weakens, certain assets strengthen exponentially. Assets that benefit directly from this devaluation. And there's one company in particular, the same one I mentioned earlier, that is perfectly positioned to explode with this trend. This company not only benefits from a weak dollar because its international contracts become more valuable, but it's also at the center of the most important technological revolution of our era, a revolution that's going to make the internet look like child's play in comparison. Do you know how much the dollar has lost in the last 12 months according to the US dollar index? 4.33%. It may seem small, but when you're moving millions or billions, that percentage represents entire fortunes. Fortunes that vanish, or fortunes that are created if you know where to put your money. And this is just the beginning, because what's coming next is even more shocking. In the next segment, I'm going to reveal the secret move the government is preparing, a move that will accelerate this dollar decline dramatically, a move that directly involves the president and the Federal Reserve, and that will create the biggest investment opportunity we've seen in decades. But before we continue, if this information is opening your eyes, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because what's coming next will determine who gets rich and who gets left behind in this massive transfer of wealth. What I'm about to tell you is information the mainstream media does not want you to know. Trump and his economic team are executing a deliberate strategy to weaken the dollar. Yes, you read that right, to weaken it on purpose. And this is not some crazy theory. It's pure, hard economic policy that's already in motion. First, they're pressuring the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates from the current 4.5% down to European levels, around 2%. What does this mean? That the dollar will lose its appeal to international investors. Less demand for dollars means a lower price. It's basic economics, but the impact is monumental. Second, and this is the most shocking, they plan to increase the fiscal deficit by $4.5 trillion over the next 10 years. $4.5 trillion. It's a number so massive the human brain can barely process it. This means printing more dollars, more debt, more inflation, and it's all part of the plan. Why would they do something like this? Because a weak dollar massively benefits American companies that export. Their products become more competitive globally, their stocks explode, and guess what? There's one company in particular that is perfectly positioned to benefit from all of this. A company with massive international contracts that become more valuable as the dollar falls. But here's the problem for ordinary people. While this is happening, the money sitting in your bank account is losing value every single day. Your savings are melting like ice under the sun, and most people don't even realize it. They're so busy working, paying bills, just surviving, that they don't see the financial tsunami that's coming. Now, going back to Trump's play, there's something else you need to understand. This strategy is not new. China used it for decades to become the factory of the world. They kept their currency artificially low to dominate exports, and it worked perfectly. Now the United States is copying the exact same strategy. And while 99% of people are worried and panicking about the falling dollar, the 1% who understand the game are positioning themselves in the right assets. Assets that don't just protect against devaluation, they benefit exponentially from it. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal exactly which asset you should be focusing on. Now the time has come to finally reveal the company I've been talking about. It's called Palantir Technologies. And if you've never heard of it, don't worry. That's exactly how they want it. This company operates in the shadows, but its power is absolutely terrifying. Palantir is not your typical tech company. It doesn't make phones. It doesn't run social media platforms. It doesn't sell consumer products. What Palantir does is far more powerful. It controls and analyzes the most sensitive data in the world. Its clients include the CIA, the FBI, the U.S. Department of Defense, the NSA, Microsoft, BP, and practically every major intelligence agency in the Western world. But what exactly does it do? Imagine software so powerful it can take billions of data points from different sources, analyze them in real time, and detect patterns the human brain could never see. Terrorists planning attacks, enemy troop movements, financial fraud in the billions. Palantir spots it before it happens. And here's the most impressive part. Palantir's stock jumped from $21.23 to $172.78 in just 12 months. That's a 714% gain. 714%, while the broader market barely went up 20%. And the craziest part, this is just the beginning. Why do I say it's just the beginning? Because of something in the investment world called the switching moat. Basically, once a company or government starts using Palantir, it's practically impossible to stop. Why? Because their entire system, their data, their processes, becomes fully integrated with the software. Switching to another provider would be like trying to replace the foundation of a 100-story skyscraper. It simply can't be done. Right now, Palantir has 711 clients, each paying an average of $20 million per year. Do the math. That's over $14 billion in guaranteed annual revenue. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Back in 2020, they only had 139 clients. In just 4 years, they multiplied their client base by 5. Projections for 2030 talk about reaching 7,000 clients. By 2035, 70,000 clients. Palantir's CEO, Alex Karp, an eccentric guy with wild curly hair who looks more like an artist than a businessman, made a promise that sounds completely insane: to multiply U.S. commercial revenue tenfold in the next 5 years. Any other CEO making that claim would be written off as delusional, but Karp has a track record of delivering on impossible promises. And most importantly, Palantir is perfectly positioned to profit from the dollar collapse I explained earlier. Why? Because it has massive international contracts paid in euros, pounds, yen. When the dollar falls, those contracts are worth more in dollar terms. It's a double win. The company grows and it gains from the exchange rate. But wait, because what I'm going to tell you next about their artificial intelligence platform will make everything I've said so far look insignificant. Get ready, because the numbers I'm about to show you are so impressive they sound made up, but they are 100% real and verifiable. Palantir just reported quarterly revenue of $1 billion. $1 billion in a single quarter, beating Wall Street's estimates by 40%. Analysts expected $714 million. They came in at $1 billion, a total knockout. But here's the truly mind-blowing part. U.S. commercial sector growth is running at 93% year over year. 93%. In a world where 20% growth is considered spectacular, Palantir is growing almost 100% year after year. It's like your money doubling every single year. Imagine putting in $1,000, having $2,000 the next year, $4,000 the year after, $8,000 the third year. It's pure exponential growth. There's a metric in the tech world called the Rule of 40. Basically, you add revenue growth plus profit margin. If the result is over 40, the company is considered exceptional. Do you know Palantir's number? 94, the second best in the market, only behind NVIDIA. Better than Apple, better than Microsoft, better than Google. In 2020, Palantir had 139 clients. Today it has 711. That's 411% growth in client base. But the most impressive thing isn't the quantity, it's the quality. Palantir's top 20 clients have doubled their average spending since 2020. They went from paying $10 million a year to $20 million or more. The more they use Palantir, the more indispensable it becomes, and the more money they spend. The projection for 2030 is between 800 and 7,000 clients, depending on how aggressive they go. But even being conservative, with 800 clients paying an average of $50 million a year, we're talking about $40 billion in annual revenue. That's 10 times more than today. By 2035, the projection is 70,000 clients. 70,000, it sounds impossible. But once you understand their technology, it makes perfect sense. The U.S. government, Palantir's biggest client, is increasing its contracts by 53% annually. 53%. And with geopolitical tensions rising with China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, demand for Palantir's intelligence services is only going to explode. It's almost like investing in a weapons manufacturer during wartime. The demand is guaranteed. The projected annual revenue for 2025 is $4 billion, with operating profit of $2 billion. That's a 50% margin. For every dollar that comes in, 50 cents is pure profit, one of the highest margins in the entire tech industry. And here's the number that will take your breath away. Palantir's current market cap is $409 billion. Sounds huge, right? But Apple is worth $3 trillion. Microsoft is worth $3 trillion. If Palantir just reaches the size of Meta or Google, we're talking about $2 trillion. That's a 5 times return from today's price. And it's not fantasy. It's a projection based on real numbers and current trends. Now let's talk about what is really going to make Palantir explode in the coming years. Its AIP platform, artificial intelligence platform. And no, this isn't just another AI platform. It's something completely different and revolutionary that is changing the rules of the game. What's the biggest problem with artificial intelligence today? Companies can't use it with their private data. Imagine you're a bank with financial information from millions of clients. You can't just throw that data into ChatGPT. It would be a security disaster. The data could leak, be hacked, or get used to train other models. It's an unacceptable risk. Palantir solved this problem brilliantly. Its AIP platform allows companies to use GPT-4, the most advanced AI model, but inside a completely safe and private environment. It's like having your own private ChatGPT that only works with your data, and no one else can access it. The data never leaves your company, never leaks, never gets shared. And this isn't theory, it's already working. Governments are using AIP for real-time military operations. Imagine being able to analyze enemy troop movements, intercepted communications, satellite images, all processed by AI in seconds to make life or death decisions. It's science fiction, made real. Commercial companies are using AIP for equally impressive things. BP, the oil giant, uses AIP to optimize extraction operations and cut billions in costs. Hospitals are using it to diagnose rare diseases human doctors can't detect. Banks are using it to spot complex fraud involving hundreds of transactions. But here's the part no one is seeing. Palantir is positioning itself as the NVIDIA of software. While NVIDIA sells the chips to train AI, Palantir sells the software to use AI securely in the real world. And just like NVIDIA exploded from $100 to $1,000 per share, Palantir has the same potential. The adoption of AIP is growing exponentially. In the last quarter, more than 300 organizations started pilot programs. Of those, 80% converted into paying clients with multi-million-dollar contracts. That conversion rate is insane. In enterprise software, if you convert 20%, it's already a success. Palantir is converting 80%. And the most important part, every client that adopts AIP increases their spending with Palantir by an average of 200% in the first year, tripling their investment. Why? Because once they see what the platform can do, they want to use it for everything. It's like when companies discovered the internet in the 1990s. First, they used it for email, then for everything. Alex Karp said something in the last earnings call that sent chills down my spine. In 5 years, every Fortune 500 company not using AIP will be at a terminal competitive disadvantage. He's basically saying that using Palantir won't be optional. It will be mandatory to survive. And when something becomes mandatory, price doesn't matter. Companies will pay whatever it takes, but not everything is perfect. If I don't talk about the risks, I wouldn't be honest with you. Palantir has a huge problem the fans don't want to admit. Its valuation is sky high. The P/E ratio, basically how many times you pay for a company's earnings, is 670. To put that in perspective, the normal range is 15 to 30. Apple is at 35. Microsoft is at 40. Palantir is at 670. That means the market is already pricing in 10 years of perfect growth. If anything goes wrong, if they miss expectations even for a single quarter, the stock could drop 50% in one day. I'm not joking. It's already happened to other overvalued tech companies. Zoom crashed 80% from its highs. Peloton fell 95%. PayPal dropped 75%. It could happen to Palantir too. Another serious issue is share dilution. Palantir pays employees mainly with stock, not cash. That represents 24% of its revenue. This means they're constantly creating new shares, diluting the value of the existing ones. It's like the government printing money all the time. Your stake in the company keeps shrinking. But here's the smart strategy to seize the opportunity while protecting yourself from risk. Never invest all at once. Use the dollar cost averaging DCA strategy. Invest a fixed amount every month, no matter the price. If it goes up, you buy fewer shares. If it goes down, you buy more. It's the strategy the smartest funds in the world use. Diversify intelligently. Don't put more than 10% of your portfolio into Palantir. Split the rest between gold, Bitcoin, and other solid tech stocks. Gold protects you from inflation. Bitcoin protects you from financial system collapse. The other stocks give you diversification. Set a mental stop loss at 25%. If Palantir falls 25% from your buy price, you sell, no doubts, no emotions, no hoping, no praying. You sell and protect your capital. Discipline is what separates successful investors from losers. The perfect hedge is combining Palantir with anti-dollar assets. While the dollar falls, Palantir and these assets rise. It's a double protection strategy. If the dollar recovers, Palantir might fall, but your other assets protect you. If the dollar keeps falling, your whole portfolio explodes upward. Now we've arrived at the most important part of this entire video. The 3 catalysts that are going to send Palantir's price skyrocketing in the coming months. Pay very close attention because this is information worth pure gold. First catalyst, inclusion in the S&P 500. Palantir meets all the requirements to enter the most important index in the world. When this happens, and it will happen in the coming quarters, all the index funds in the world will be forced to buy the stock. We're talking about forced purchases of more than $50 billion. Guaranteed demand that will violently push the price upward. Second catalyst, NATO military contracts. With geopolitical tensions exploding, with war in Ukraine, tensions in Taiwan, the Middle East on fire, NATO is desperate for Palantir's technology. We're talking about contracts worth tens of billions of dollars that could be announced at any moment. When they're announced, the stock could jump 30% in a single day. Third catalyst, mass adoption of AIP by the Fortune 500. Currently, only 50 of the 500 largest U.S. companies use Palantir. When that number reaches 250, the projection for 2027, revenues will multiply tenfold. And remember what Karp said, not using Palantir will be a corporate death sentence. So, what's the concrete action plan? Open an account with a reliable broker today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Every day that passes is a missed opportunity. Start with a small position, 5% of your investable capital. Don't go crazy, don't bet at all. Set up automatic monthly purchases. Every month, without fail, buy a little more. It doesn't matter if the price goes up or down. Consistency is the key. Diversify with the 40-30 formula. 40% in Palantir and tech stocks, 30% in gold, 30% in Bitcoin. This mix protects you in any scenario. Conservative projections put Palantir at $500 per share within 5 years. That's a 3x from today's price of $172. Optimistic projections talk about $1,000 per share, a 6x. But even if it only reaches $300, you'll have doubled your money while everyone else loses to inflation. Look, I know all this information can feel overwhelming, but the difference between those who get rich and those who stay poor is simple. Action. The rich don't wait for the perfect moment because they know it doesn't exist. They act with the information they have and adjust along the way. Warren Buffett said it best. The greatest transfer of wealth happens when most people are afraid and a few have clarity. Now you have clarity. The question is, are you going to act or are you going to let fear paralyze you? If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs this information. Hit like so YouTube shows it to more people. And don't leave just yet. Here on the channel, I have videos on how to protect your money from inflation, how to invest in gold and Bitcoin, and advanced strategies the millionaires don't want you to know. Knowledge is power, but only if you use it. See you in the next video. And remember, fortune favors the bold.